Hi Scorpios, and welcome to your April 2022 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about your month ahead. I'm very happy to be coming on and talking to you all about it because ever since I did the photography for your reading, I'm like, wow, okay, we're kind of lightening things up here for Scorpio. Look at all of these very kind of lighthearted, easygoing, quick-moving, creative, energetic archetypes coming up for you this month, Scorpio. I see no Tower, I see no Ten of Swords, I see no Devil card or Judgment or anything like really heavy, Five of Cups, stuff like that that's been coming up for you for such a long time. It looks like you are really getting healthier this month. It looks like you are doing the important stuff, and it by no means is going to feel necessarily easy, because I often find when we have a shift from like pretty heavy archetypes to really light archetypes, that can be sometimes difficult. You know, it's kind of like changing altitude, or it's like a shift in pressure, you know, which can kind of disorient us sometimes. So there is a possibility of April being a little bit disorienting, honestly, just because of how good it's going, or because of the possibilities that are building up for you now. And I really trust the energy here for you, okay? I think you've planned well. I think you've understood the right path forward, and I think that things are just going to kind of slowly come together based on the progress you've made over the all planets direct phase. Especially for those of you Scorpios who've been able to release an unhealthy habit or addiction over February or March. There's still time for that in April, as we do have another full month of all planets direct now. And you're really supported to just get rid of that stuff, or to lighten your load in some way, to understand that things are coming together, to understand the emotional evolution. You've got the Page of Cups and the King of Cups coming up, as well as the Ace of Swords and King of Swords. So you've got this like emotional, logical ease coming in here. You can really figure out the answers here. You can formulate the proper questions. Something that's been coming up as an intuitive message for a lot of the signs this month has been along the lines of answering questions by formulating the right ones. Okay, so finding answers through the right questions. You know, being that we've had such heavy Capricorn energy, and Pluto's going retrograde in Capricorn at the end of this month, it can lead to a heightened intuitive feeling of something being off, but we might not be able to pinpoint it. We might even misdirect what is actually off. So I feel that in order to find the right answer, we have to ask the right question, okay? And I think that you're very easily being able to put those together here, because your logical and emotional aspects of your personality are really conjoining in a light and mature way to deliver you very good levels of productivity, very good levels of progress in general. And it just looks really positive. I'm not feeling the need to really offset it with a negative or anything like that, because again, the only thing I can see is like potential disorientation, like you didn't expect that things would be this good. You didn't expect that you'd be this capable. Also, you didn't expect to see through your own BS, okay? That happens sometimes with Scorpios. You might realize like, wow, for the last 2 years, I've been so worried about something, and it was totally a non-issue. And will I allow myself to not worry about that now, or will I kind of stick in this habit of worrying? Again, the only problems for Scorpio this month are like having seen through their own errors, or having healed something, but also still having that habit of worrying, or having that habit of being in a damaged place, and then maybe continuing those muscle memories. Again, we need to kind of be working on developing a new muscle memory here, and probably creating new contingency for ourselves as well. What else would you like to do? What other skills do you have? What a beautiful month for developing a new skill. Probably what a beautiful year for developing a new skill. Again, we're in Aries season here. So this is how we're starting. This is the new projects. This is the new goals. And I'm so happy that you're so aligned with this energy, Scorpio. Page of Cups, Ace of Swords, Page of Swords, the Magician, the Empress, Knight of Wands. All of those are very young, youthful, starting energies. And then you're kind of letting it also be very mature with the King of Swords and the King of Cups coming in too. So it's like with this new path, you also have an incredible intelligence of emotional and logical type to guide you through a new stage. It's the best of both worlds, honestly. You're doing something right. Try to identify what that is and maybe repeat that. Like, you're doing something right here. Congratulations, Scorpios. It's going to be a beautiful month. Let's talk about your week to week. Okay, in the first week of April, you've got the Magician rooted down by Knight of Wands. So there has to be some type of new project or some type of new goal, some type of new exciting adventure I feel that you're creating in the first week of April. It's Aries season. It's the best time of year to officially embark on a new project, new goal, new business, new relationship even for some of you. But it's more so like what you yourself can create. You know, the Magician is about having all of the means to start or to establish or to reasonably go forward. And Knight of Wands reading that down says that you're wanting it, like you're wanting this goal or you're wanting this new adventure. And you're kind of like really well positioned, I think, to take some of this forward. Like if I were a Scorpio, I really wouldn't fear taking your research skills to the next level or understanding at a further or to a farther extent, like what it actually takes to realize some of these dreams, and maybe actually taking the first step to cement that or to move forward with that. The Knight of Wands is also about movement as well, and it's about creative movement. So we don't want to be stagnant here. We don't want to kind of be sitting in bed all day, unsure of how to move forward. I'm seeing a lot of movement for you here, and I'm seeing that you are needing to feel as if you're moving. You're needing mobility, so maybe you need to get out of the house more. Maybe you need to kind of get into that eye of the tiger mode. You know, it's Year of the Tiger, which is a good year for Scorpios. It's great for Scorpios to really get some direct progress in their lives. And honestly, I also feel like solar plexus. Like, look at all the yellow here. Actually, in every single week, you've got some yellow coming up. So solar plexus expansion, even sacral and heart chakra to a degree. So that's where it's at, Scorpio. It's not so much in the mind. I mean, even though you've got all this logical capability, I mean, you've got that too if you want that. And it's good, it's healthy, it's not bad. But it's more in the action than it is in the mind. And I understand that the mind creates the action and the mind chooses what action to take. But I feel like you've had a long time to be there. And now we kind of want to see if you are in the mind, that it's a new kind of idea or it's a new process or a new type of operation, not so much an old, outworn, ancient one. And being that you have so much solar plexus energy coming in here, again, it's not going to really settle for the tried and the true. It really wants new heights, it wants new skills, it wants new talents, new structures, all right? In the first week, you might go ahead and create that, or you might choose to do even more. I mean, you guys could work extra shifts in the first week. You could get ahead. That would be really smart. With all that excess energy, why not work ahead? That way you have more freedom in the future. Week number 2, you have the Empress rooted down by Page of Swords. Letting communication come to you, letting the Empress, I think, has been coming up for you for like the last few months, and I've been seeing it a lot for Scorpio. And over the last few years, it was the Emperor. So you've kind of moved out of that super officious, super action-oriented executive quality, and now you're kind of letting stuff come to you, and I like that. I like that you're kind of in that place in Tiger Year of all years. Again, Tiger is kind of like the Emperor, right? So it's usually wanting to, you know, take its own action, its own independent action, but you're letting other people come to you. You're letting other people perhaps work for you now, or you're letting the universe bring you the message. You're not feeling to me like you need to take action so severely, although I've been talking earlier in this reading about taking new action. So you can kind of go either way, because the Magician is kind of like the Emperor. It's similar. It's like, you know, getting us ready to act upon something. And so you can go either way with it, and you can do a little bit of both. Maybe there's some areas of your life that you need to outsource or you need to delegate so that you can take a different type of action. That's probably how I would combine those messages is like, if you in April can find an area that you've been spending too much time, wasting too much time, and either delegate, outsource, or stop that even. This is why finishing addictions or letting go of unhealthy habits that consume time is a great thing during this all planets direct motion, because that frees up time for us, right? It's not just about the health. That's also very important, but the time that we spend in unhealthy addictions, or the time that we spend even in like coping or attempted healing, that's not really healing. It's more of like a repetitive action to heal, or to, you know, proverbially kind of being in the fetal position, you know, to cope with life. We can now replace that, I think, with more prosperous things. Page of Swords, reading that down, it's like communication, new friendships, new partnerships as well can come in, and new messages. You might hear from somebody. You might hear from somebody you haven't ever heard from before. Dating, perhaps. Page of Swords and the Empress. That kind of looks like dating apps to me. I mean, watch out with that. I don't really support those, but some type of correspondence relating to Empress energy, which is like relationships, love, and assistance. It can also be more professional. I mean, it can be like communication from employees or employers that are positive and beneficial, or even communication from family that is positive, okay, in the second week. Week 3, King of Swords, rooted down by the Ace of Swords. That is a beautiful combination. New ideas meet mature decision making. Oh my gosh, Scorpios, that's so beautiful. You're really aging up here. You're really getting more mature. You're really getting smarter as well. Learning new things, new intelligence, new types of knowledge coming in for you, and new. Basically, I also feel that you're losing this confusion, or you're losing the vague or open-ended, I don't know, so stretched macrocosmic way of thinking that it almost loses its point or its purpose. You're really condensing, refining, and polishing your logic, your logistical contribution to a point that it's really strong and powerful. So to me, this looks like crossword puzzles, like even reading, research projects, or something that refines your logic. Okay, so for those of you who are like going back to college, for those of you who are doing some type of research project, that's really good, because it's helping. It's not only it's not just the degree, it's not just the research, but it's also changing the way your brain works, or it's making you have a more mathematical, more fine-tuned, fine-pointed logic, which is really, I think, a big part of this karmic time for you, is a retuning, fine-tuning, polishing of Scorpio's logic. So the third week is when that's happening. It's a great time to make progress with some type of research or some type of knowledge-based pursuit. Week 4, also incredibly beautiful. Page of Cups, rooted down by King of Cups. Same thing, except on the emotional side. So we have new emotional knowledge. We have new, basically maturing emotionally. We have new emotional memory. You might even remember something, like an old memory might come back to you in the 4th week that you had forgotten, and it really helps you to karmically transcend some of the traumas that you've recently or a long time ago been through. You might also have leeway from other people as well. People might really be empathetic towards you. Like if you mess up, or if you miss a deadline, or if you have to kind of redo something, you know, South Node's in your sign, there is a possibility for weird kind of errors or difficulties with scheduling, or some type of inability also to meet your bases. People will understand, people will get it. And I'm not saying you need to like take that into account and like not step up. But if there is truly like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot something, or, you know, I totally just need someone to extend a deadline or give me an extension or something, I think they will be there for you. I think they will understand. And I think that showing your vulnerability to people is not bad. Okay, so this is an interesting thing that I will conclude your reading on this month, Scorpio. Scorpio, to me, ever since we had the triple Capricorn conjunction, became very almost like warrior-like, or almost even infallible or Teflon in nature. And people can want to start to or people can become jealous of that. People can also just come to expect that, like that person never messes up. So if they do mess up, I give them a harder time. I think it's good starting in April 2022 to embrace a more humane, more vulnerable version of yourself, because people will give you an easier time. People will be more willing to negotiate with that, more willing to level with that. Whereas if you're this super like authoritarian kind of boss vibe, or super above other people, or acting very egotistical like that, people aren't going to give you any room for errors. People are going to expect you to be that. People are going to also perhaps be happy when you mess up, or kind of enjoy to see you struggle a little bit. So that's an important thing to know right now. And this is not about kind of falsely switching the facade or just kind of projecting a false vulnerability, because people will really see through that as well. This is about a true kind of heart level, I want to say solar plexus level, reemergence of your own vulnerable self, and having the emotional intelligence to know who you can be vulnerable with, and also who you need to be a little bit more professional or boss-like with. So it's about not having a fixed caricature, which is a tough point for Scorpio because you're a fixed sign. So adaptability is very valuable. Vulnerability is very valuable. And basically understanding that you've got it made. Okay, you've got it made. There's no need to create new dramas for yourself. There's no need to engage with exes. There's no need to engage with closures or past traumas now. Okay, you got it made, Scorpios. You got it made. Let's talk more about that in your extended reading on Patreon. I'll get a central theme and 2 supporting themes, and I will talk a little bit more about, for Scorpio, like walking through a time where you're not maybe being directly subverted, or you're not dealing with a trauma, or you're not necessarily having to go through something like that. And now it's more about self-actualization on that foundation, and how you can kind of switch into knowing that that's where you're at versus being in that old muscle memory. So let's talk about that in your extended. I'll link it below and in the center of your screen now, Scorpios. I recommend the Patreon page for you. I do weekly tea chats, which are only available over on Patreon. And of course, you get these readings early, ad-free, and all the extended readings. You get all of them just for the 1 membership. So check it out. It's a great value. Have a wonderful month. Bye.